Welcome to Butterflies of Wisdom, everyone. Just a quick programming note. I'm doing this in an odd spot today, so I apologize if you guys hear the news in the background, even though I have my headphones in. And not only do you have me today, you have Emem with me, and Emem is going to share her story. She actually found out about this podcast from Lakia Robinson. So if you guys know anyone that wants to be interviewed about disabilities or solo entrepreneurship, please send them up. Please send them my way. And so without further ado, I'm going to let Emem take it away.
Well, hi. Thank you again, Wynn, for letting me be on your podcast. I really appreciate this opportunity. Again, my name is Emem. It may sound strange, but that's because I am Nigerian. So I'm of Nigerian descent. I'm new to this whole podcasting world, but in, let's say, May of last year, I graduated with my master's degree in lifestyle and digital communication. And I realized throughout my career, my graduate career at Old Dominion University, that I was very passionate about oral speaking, about speaking publicly and motivating people, and that I had learned so much along the way that I wanted to kind of get on and kind of be that motivator and motivate people in ways in times and ways that I wish that I would have been motivated when I was down or depressed or sad or going through a difficult time. So that's pretty much how I started. I would describe myself as a motivational speaker. I literally just began my journey as that, have my own podcast. It's called Take a Shot with Emem Joy Emah. I'm definitely enjoying my time on that. And I'm just enjoying the journey of speaking and learning and growing my business. It's really fun, challenging, but very, very fun.
Well, it sounds like to me you can carry on a conversation, Emem, like there's no tomorrow. And so what has been your biggest entrepreneurial success with your degree? And congratulations on newly graduating. I'm actually going back to school again in the fall to pursue a degree in fashion journalism of all things. And so
awesome.
I always like to hear recent college graduates come on my podcast, like you. And so what has been your biggest entrepreneurial success, and what has been your biggest life lesson?
My biggest entrepreneurial success, honestly, it would definitely be the courage just to even begin. I mean, as any entrepreneur, whether young or old, new or have been in this for a while, can tell you the hardest part, the biggest part of it, one of the biggest parts of it is just having faith to step out and do it. And with, people around you, people around me that, didn't believe or said, why would you want to do that? You're too young. Why would you want to do that? There's no money. You're not going to make any money. You're not, just saying negative things. So the biggest success for me has just been ignoring those voices, everybody else's voices around me, those negative voices, and then ignoring my own negative voices in my head that would tell me, who are you to do this? Who are you to start out? You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. It's standing up and saying, you know what, I can do this, and I'm going to take the shot, hence the name Take a Shot with Emem Joy Emah, my podcast. I decided, you know what, I'm going to take a shot. I'm going to step out. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take that leap of faith, and I'm going to believe that as I'm working hard, as I am striving and working hard and learning and researching and growing, that eventually things will pan out for me. It may not be the way that I want it to, or it may not be in the timing that I want it to, but things will definitely pan out for me. And your second question, I'm sorry, what was I forgot it. Can you repeat that for me again, Wynn?
Biggest life lesson.
Biggest life lesson. Ooh, Okay. My biggest life lesson so far is, I would definitely say, goes along with a quote that I stumbled upon a long time ago, and that is, surrounded by an island of knowledge is the vastity of the unknown. So it's for me right now, and that changes, but right now my biggest life lesson is not to be afraid of what I don't know, and it's okay not to know certain things, not to know everything. I've been someone that, especially being in school and, doing research and coming out of writing thesis and all that, you kind of pride yourself on, I did certainly pride myself on, I know this, I've researched this, and then you come out and, you're, beginning work and entering into the workforce and all of that, you realize, oh my gosh, what I thought I knew is not enough. I need to know much more. There's so much more to know. So it's definitely a humbling process that I'm going through right now. Just realizing, you know what? Surrounded by a little tiny island of knowledge is a vastity of the unknown, and that's okay. Not to be overwhelmed by that sea of the unknown, but to just take things one day at a time, one step at a time, one process at a time, one breath at a time if necessary, and then I'll get where I need to get to if I just keep moving. So that's been my biggest lesson.
Well, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. One small step at a time will get this podcasting down, or whatever you want to do down. And it doesn't have to be perfect the first time. And now, if you don't mind me sharing, how many downloads do you get of your podcast?
Oh man, I literally just started my podcast. So I began my podcast, I believe, at the end of April, like April 30th. So I'm very, 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 very fresh and new to the podcasting world. So for now, a little over the 20s, I would say. Yes, a little over the 20s so far. Because I'm just really fresh and new to the whole world, to the whole podcasting world. But hey, it's been exciting and fun, and the reviews that I've been getting, or the comments and the messages and emails and all that stuff that I've been getting have definitely been inspiring me to keep going, and that I am making a difference, even if it's making a difference in one person's life at a time.
Well, after this episode goes live, you're going to see a spike in your download numbers because people listen to me and do what I say. So when I say go listen to Emem's podcast, go listen to it, because she'll be forever grateful to raise the download numbers. And what has been your favorite podcast episode you have done?
Ooh, my favorite podcast episode that I've done. It would definitely be actually my latest one. Funny enough, my latest one is Hold On, Change is Coming. And that's definitely my favorite one, just because I definitely understand the struggle of, I talked a little bit about my personal story. So I talked a little bit about the hardship, some of the hardship that I went through as when I didn't have, any money. And I had to get on the bus, and I had literally pennies in my hands. It was raining. I literally would put pennies into the bus. And the bus driver was so frustrated with me that she just, sat down and didn't let me pay for everything. So everybody's staring at me. At this point, I'm feeling humiliated, and I'm like, what am I going to get a car? What am I going to get, a place of my own? Just crying and just really overwhelmed by the difficulties of life. And, of course, I've come out of that. I'm still working through some things, but I've come out of that. I have my own car now. I have a job, all of that good stuff. But I remember every time I drive by a bus station, I remember that time. Every time I see a bus, I remember that time where I literally would be wishing, hoping, praying, when is my life going to change? When are things going to be different? And now, not too long after, things, shifted around. So I was definitely inspired to share my story, and so for people who are going through maybe something similar or a difficulty of their own, to be inspired that change will come. I know it doesn't feel like it at the moment, but it will eventually come if they just don't give up. So that's been my favorite to share thus far, just because it came from a really honest place.
Well, isn't that wonderful that you were able to share your story about the bus and not being able to necessarily get on the bus and ride the bus, and now you're coming to a spot where you can turn around and help others.
Yeah.
And Emem, what is your favorite podcast that you listen to, if any?
Oh gosh. Ooh, you know what? I love podcasts so much. It is so hard for me. Like it's very difficult for me to choose just one thing. So like I don't think I have a favorite. I have a number of podcasts that I really enjoy. I don't think I have one favorite one, but just for the sake of this podcast, I would choose one that it comes to mind right now. Right now it's called Success Talks. On iTunes, I listen to that and I really find inspiration from that. Another one is it's done by Relevant Magazine. I really enjoy their banter. They have a long segment of just mindless banter, but I just enjoy that just to get just when you're driving, and you just need some chatter in the car. They just provide some really funny banter, which I enjoy. And those are the two that come to my mind right now. But there's a number. I literally don't have one. Podcasts are so fun. They're so diverse. They're so different. Not one is the same. So I enjoy one more came to mind. The Essence. It's by Essence Magazine. Yes, Girl. I love that podcast. Very funny, very insightful. So yeah, I can keep going. I can keep going.
You can keep going and going and going.
Yes, I love podcasts. I genuinely do.
Yes. Well, you're right. The podcast community is so diverse. And, this. I thought, well, what are people going to think of my podcast when I launch it? And they have graciously accepted me and into the podcast community, and I love it. And so what has been your favorite technology tool that you have used on a daily basis?
Favorite technology tool. Ooh, again, it's really hard for me to choose one thing. But because as you can tell, I love sound, I love speaking. So, one of my favorite tools right now is, it varies. I'm going to say two things. The UE Boom speakers, I just love those because every time I play my music or I listen to podcasts or anything like that, they are really loud, really clear, really bright. So I just love those speakers. I use it literally all the time. And then secondly, I recently got Adobe Creative Cloud, and man, I'm in love. Like, I love it. I feel like I can let my creative wings fly. So those are, off the top of my head, those are the two technology tools that I enjoy using right now.
So, okay, wireless speakers and Adobe Suite. That's what you're saying.
Mhm.
So I didn't know they're coming out with wireless speakers at the Yin now for the iPhone, but I didn't know you enjoy wireless speakers.
Yes, I do. I enjoy it not just because it's wireless, but because of the clarity of the sound. So I've gotten a lot of speakers, and it's funny we're talking about speakers, but I've gotten a lot of speakers where the sound wasn't clear, and I like to hear, if I'm listening to a song, I like to hear every part, every facet of it, so every drum, every note, every lyric. I like to hear everything clear, and I like it to be surround sound. But I also like the fact that with the specific speaker that I have, I can carry it around. Well, people literally, when I play it, people say, that sound is coming from that tiny thing. And I'm like, yes, it is. So I love the fact that I can carry it wherever I go. But the quality is still so great. So yeah.
And speaking of, my dad's former career used to be sound mixing. And so someone said to me this morning, it sounds like a party when I was giving this person an interview. I said, don't ask. I'm exposed to music 24/7. I'm exposed to music. I'm exposed to podcasts 24/7.
Oh, that's awesome.
A good wireless speaker to me is like, there's nothing that compares to it. And you guys, a good Apple wireless speaker called the Apple earbuds are phenomenal too. So
yes,
that's a wireless speaker that you can binge on if you like. So, where can people find you, and where can people get a hold of you and listen to your podcast? Of course.
Yes, people can find me online at Emem Joy Emah, so I'm going to spell that because people typically don't know how to spell my name. So it's EMEM JOY EMAH, Emem Joy Emah. And I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all those social media platforms. I'm on there, and I try to engage on there as regularly as I possibly can. And then also you can find me on my website, ememjoyemah.com. So that's EMEMJOYEMAH.com. And then my podcast is called Take a Shot with Emem Joy Emah. And that's on iTunes, that's on SoundCloud. So iTunes is on SoundCloud, so Spreaker. So it's on different platforms. But definitely, if you want to go find out more information about it, I'll definitely implore you to visit my website to learn more about it. That's ememjoyemah.com.
And of course, we'll have Emem's information in the show notes. And you guys know this by now. If you listen to podcasts, you know to click on the show note artwork of any podcast, and it will automatically flip over to the show notes. And before I let Emem go, I'm going to let Emem ask me a couple of questions about anything that she's been interested in asking me.
Yes. So first, again, thank you for the opportunity. I definitely enjoyed this. I want to know what caused you to start, your whole journey. I mean, 40,000 downloads, that's amazing. What inspired you to even begin podcasting?
Well, I wrote a book at age 23. That book is still available on Amazon. It's called I Come a Win. 2 weeks after the book came out, it hit number one. My friends, my family bought that book, and then complete strangers were asking me, how do you do all this phenomenal stuff with a physical disability? And so I thought, okay, I need to start a YouTube show at the time. And one of my fans literally said to me, Win, I want to listen to Win's Women of Wisdom at the time, a.k.a. Butterflies of Wisdom. And she goes, I can't listen to the audio while I'm cleaning my kitchen or multitasking. I said, uh-oh, there goes my YouTube presence right after all. So then I discovered podcasting, and fell in love with it. Have not one, not two, but 3 podcasts. One is in hiding right now, and my solo cast is in hiding right now. But another podcast I do is called The Wisdom of Fashion with a co-host. And so if you guys want to go check that out, you're more than welcome to it. And so that's how I started podcasting.
Oh, wow. That's inspiring. That's awesome. Man, I have to check out your other podcasts. My second question is, you seem to have accomplished a lot. You just talked about you wrote a book. You have 3 different podcasts. So you do a lot of things. Is there something that you have been aching or burning to do that you just haven't done yet, but it's something that you definitely are looking forward to do or working towards? And would you be willing to share that?
I would. And my aching desire right now is to become a fashion journalism, and that's why I'm pursuing my second degree in the fall. My original one is in early childhood education, and I'm stepping away from early childhood education because of my psyche has nothing to do with my disability. People think, oh, men can't work a full-time job because it has to do with the cerebral palsy. No, it has everything to do with my psyche, and I'm so excited to get this degree in fashion journalism. If I can get straight A's, I will be getting my bachelor's degree in fashion journalism. If I can't, I will be getting my associate's degree in fashion journalism.
Oh, that's so amazing. I'm excited. So when do you start your journey officially?
I officially started September 6th.
Oh, wow, it's coming up. That's exciting.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I officially started September 6th. So I may be underneath a rock, you guys, be underneath a textbook rock, more like it. So if you guys don't hear from me for at least 2 weeks, don't worry about me. I haven't fallen off the face of the earth, but just tweet me and say, how are you? And then if I don't get to it, I will get to it. But always check it on me. Make sure I'm not too stressed out by the college textbooks, because as Emem will tell you, college can be stressful.
Oh, gosh. Yes, I know that.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yes, you know that firsthand.
Yeah, but it's when it's all done and when you get that degree, you'll hold it in your hands and all of the work that you put in will feel so worth it. I'm excited for you. I'm definitely excited for you.
Well, thank you, and I apologize for the coughing attack, you guys. That came on so quickly I couldn't mute my mic. And so, Emem, I just want to thank you for sharing your story on my podcast and coming on and sharing your story. And I hope you guys enjoyed another fabulous episode with Emem and I. And go listen to Emem's podcast. And please, 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 please leave a review in iTunes. Please send an email. Please communicate with Emem. And this podcast has been sponsored by Kitter, K-I-T-T-E-R. And what Kitter does is you can compose the tweet or they can compose it for you. But the cool thing about Kitter is they put the trending hashtag with it so you guys don't get lost in the heap. And this podcast has also been sponsored by Grace by Grit. Grace by Grit is a clothing line out of California, and they're giving you guys 20% off. All in the next couple of weeks, I'll be posting my full Grace by Grit outfit on Instagram so you can see it, and then you guys can go buy something off Grace by Grit when you guys use the code XO Butterfly. And I appreciate Emem's time, and I hope you guys enjoyed another fabulous episode. Thanks to you guys.
Thank you, Lynn.
Hello? Hello?
The host has joined the conference.
Good afternoon, wives.
Good afternoon. How are you?
How are you? Good, good, good.
I'm well.
So I'm sorry I'm late. I just looked at the time, but better late than never. And how this is going to work is I'm going to introduce you and then obviously introduce the show and then obviously introduce you and tell the people where I found you, believe it or not. And then I am going to have you give us a brief synopsis of your bio, and then we can talk about podcasting and diversity, my favorite subject, wise.
Fantastic. That sounds good.
So that sounds great. So here we go.